Hey, it's already started. I know this is a very busy time of the year, so we so appreciate you making time for us here on First Take on this Christmas Eve. Skip Bayless, Molly Karam here with you. Stephen A is off today. Good morning, Stephen A. I hope you're relaxing. I know you're probably not, but we are in good hands. Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe in the house, fired up. As always, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Molly's really excited about this. I can tell.
Whatever.
I'm just going along for the ride today, but that's okay.
Yeah, put it on me.
It's almost Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm not Santa Claus, but I'm bringing knowledge today.
Knowledge?
I'm bringing it.
You know what? I have missed you because the depth of your hate for the Dallas Cowboys and for Tom Brady always makes me laugh. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to laughing a lot today. And I have a prediction. I have a prediction.
Okay.
What's that?
Later in the show, when I make my case for why Aaron Rodgers did not deserve to make the Pro Bowl, I am predicting that my man Stephen A. Smith will call this show even though he is off. He's completely out today. Watch, he will call.
Really?
He probably will.
All right, we shall see. You guys ready to work?
I'm ready.
All right, so Shannon said in the meeting earlier, Muhammad Ali invented trash talking. I perfected it. So since we have a Hall of Fame trash talker with us, we need you to weigh in on this Odell Beckham drama. Now, I want to mention that VP of officiating, Dean Blandino, just said on Mike and Mike that OBJ should have been ejected. Beckham's appeal is set for noon today. Shannon, your reaction to this Odell situation?
Skip, bear with me just a second. My grandpa used to always say, son, never let a person know what makes you tick. Because once they find out, they can wind you up and make you tick when they want you to.
It's good. I like that a lot.
And that's what
Smart man, your grandfather.
And that's what Odell Beckham allowed to happen. Watching the game, I'm saying at some point in time, they have to throw him out because they've warned both head coaches, and it didn't happen. And after that, and he kept going, I'm like, what is being said to get him to that point that he's willing to throw everything that he's worked his entire life for away? I tell guys all the time, I don't mind you being selfish. If you want to be Rookie of the Year, you want to be MVP, have at it. Because if you're going to be that selfish and go out and try to achieve those things, it's going to be for the betterment of the team. But never put your individual goals above that of winning. Team goal. At that moment, he became a selfish player, not for the betterment of the football team. And he hurt the team. I was also disappointed that nobody on the team had the courage, had the guts, or maybe had the cachet to go to him and says, okay, Odell, that's enough. You've done enough. If you want to get back at someone the way when people would trash talk me to try to get me out of my game, I score a touchdown. I win the ball game. Then after the game, I get an opportunity to explain myself what happened. There's speculation and innuendo of what was said and how it was said. And that's disappointing because we live in a different time now, Skip. We can't cross those certain lines that you can't cross anymore. And I know trash talking, it's an art form. And once I know what to say to get you out of your game, now you're not worried about catching touchdowns. Now you're not worried about beating my football team. You're worried about trying to injure or harm me. I've got you, and I'm not going to let you go.
Okay. So you were the master of trash talk to me. No one ever got under skin more deeply and more effectively than this man did. I'm going to give you that. So you are the artist talking about this art form that is trash talk. And you just brought up rules of engagement have changed. There are certain lines you can't cross. I disagree with that. And I'm not advocating crossing those lines, but I'm still all about all is fair in love and football or basketball or baseball, whatever high stakes professional game you're playing, all is fair. And in this case, I don't care what line got crossed, what insult was hurled, what slur was aimed at Odell Beckham Jr., you cannot let it sink in. You cannot let it reach that deepest hot button in you that is going to send you completely over the edge.
It did.
That we saw him go over. And there's one way, as you said, to close all the mouths on the other sideline, and that is to catch the first touchdown bomb that was thrown to you perfectly by one Eli Manning, hitting you right there. If his focus had not been on everything but that football at that moment, and he catches it, it shuts every Carolina mouth, I'm pretty sure, because they'd be like, ooh, because he just ran by your man, Josh Norman. He ran by him. I thought Ryan Clark made a great point yesterday. Josh Norman is mostly a zone corner. Didn't have Odell straight solo man all that much in this game.
No.
But the two key times that he did, that play and the touchdown play, Odell just blew by him, man. I mean, it just made him look silly because at every snap I'm watching, because we were all spotlighting the matchup, I'm watching Josh Norman. He is bailing on every snap. Even when he's his own corner, he's like, you see him just kind of shrinking off the line of scrimmage, like, uh-oh. That's how scared he was. But he won the game and won the personal battle because somebody, I don't know if he did it or not, got to Odell Beckham with something that came out of their mouths. So I'm back to what I said yesterday. If I can go back to the old kids' expression, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never, I'll paraphrase, beat me. Words can never beat me. So, look, I get your point about leadership. Where was the leader? I defended Tom Coughlin on Monday, and then
you can't defend him, Skip.
Okay, but Tom Coughlin, he's desperate. He's on his way to losing 5 out of his last 7 games. He's going to miss the playoffs for his 4th straight year. Is he not coaching for his job in that game? I think he is.
That's why he left him in the ball game. And you heard him say, Skip, when the reporter asked, why did you leave him in the game?
He was honest.
I was trying to win the game.
I know he was trying to win the game, and he almost did.
And then he said yesterday, well, I'm not really observing individual guys. So I didn't really know all the penalties were on Odell Beckham Jr. Personal foul, number 13 of the offense. Personal foul, number 13 of the offense. Personal foul, number 13 of the offense. Who wears that number for your football team, Coach Coughlin?
He knew exactly what was
He knew
going
exactly
on.
what it, if you look at Carolina's sideline. Luke Kuechly, Roman Harper, they got him. Josh, enough is enough.
Sure.
Or you look at the other side,
who's
the position
there?
coach.
Who is it?
Nobody.
Is it JPP?
No.
Not after what he inflicted upon himself on the 4th of July.
The officials made the situation worse than what it was. Because they should have thrown him out. If they throw him out, I'm not so sure that he's suspended. But because they allowed it to keep going and he couldn't stop, he had gotten so upset, Skip. Now, winning the game is secondary. Getting back at Josh Norman is primary. And look, we all know, and if you watch film, Josh has a way of poking and prodding and doing things. He slammed Odell Beckham first. Once the officials warned the coaches, once he talked to the players, there's no more talking. The next act, I'm going to have to get control of this ball game by asking you to exit the ball game. It's very disappointing, and we're talking more about this situation, Odell Beckham situation. The game was great, Skip. It was one of the better games of the year. You get a 35-7 lead, and the Giants score 28 straight points to tie it up, and then Cam goes back down the field and lead to a game-winning field goal. But we're discussing how a man allowed his emotions to overwhelm him. And now we look at him in a totally different light than, say, we did going into
And I'm okay with that. But I'm also okay with taking some blame myself and yourself and yourself.
What happened?
We're all complicit in this. And your original point about you tell rookies, if you want to be selfish and try to be rookie of the year, I'm okay with that. But ultimately, as you knew, in the end, what I loved about Shannon Sharp's game was, in the end, you were a lot about Shannon, but in the end, you were about your team.
Absolutely.
You were about the W. You were about the ring, right? In the end. That's old school, new school. New school is mostly about me.
Instagram followers, Facebook followers, Twitter followers, and my brand.
And what have we done for months and weeks and months on this show? We've talked about ODB is now become the best receiver in football. Greatest catch ever, cover of Madden. So we're all enabling him to be the biggest Big Apple star right now, right?
They're mentioning him in the same breath as Jerry Rice.
Hey, I got it.
He's an unbelievable talent.
And he's still just a kid to me because he came out early from LSU. So I'm not giving him a pass here, but we all put him on such an early pedestal in the Big Apple in New York City that I think it went straight to his head and he thought he was almost godlike. Like, I'm above all this. And we built up that one-on-one matchup with Josh Norman all week long because I was looking forward to it. I'm sure you were too.
I was, but I also understand that Josh Norman doesn't follow the receivers around. He doesn't travel like Patrick Peterson.
Okay.
He doesn't have frequent flyer miles like Darrell Rivers or Chris Harris or Keith Talib.
Or all of them.
He is a guy that basically stays on one side of the field.
Mostly a zone
outside.
Mostly
exactly.
is. But I got to say, he has had a tremendous year. Because he has been right place, right time for that team a whole lot. And I take nothing away from his zone cornerness that he plays with.
But you have to understand now, Skip, he's not going to back down. He went at the quarterback in training camp.
Yeah.
So if you take on that guy when you know what he represents,
that's true. The
guy from the opposing team doesn't have a chance.
Yep.
But he's going to have to channel that because now the officials are going to be looking at him, and Odell Beckham Jr. is going to have to worry about this for the rest of his career because everybody's going to try to push that button to get him to act like he did Sunday.
Okay, now back to the news of the day, which is Dean Blandino says they should have ejected ODB.
Yep.
What did I say? You can attest to this.
Yeah.
First point I made on Monday morning, if you're going to suspend him, you have to suspend this crew of Terry McAuliffe.
All over that.
Because it's so blatant. They let it quickly get so out of control. You could have thrown more flags. It could have been a double ejection. The Blandino said ejections, plural.
Yes.
So he wanted both thrown out. And by the way, it makes me a little uncomfortable that Dean Blandino has direct communication with the head referee on the field at all times. He can talk in Terry McAuliffe's ear and say, you guys thinking about throwing him out? Maybe you should think a little harder about throwing him out, which always raises questions in my mind.
What else are they talking about?
What else are they talking about? And when that replay gets reviewed, are they still talking about that? I'm wondering.
Yep.
My only question, Skip, is that what was the purpose of the referee talking to Coach Coughlin, talking to Coach Rivera about getting this team under control and allowing it to escalate as it did? If you're going to talk to him, now it's just like baseball. You throw at the guy, the umpire come from behind the plate, he'll point at you, he'll point at you. Now, if it happens again, the next guy's getting tossed.
Okay, I get all that. But back to my point about what a pedestal we put not only Odell on, but this matchup on heading into the game.
Yep.
Refs are just human. They read, they hear, they watch. You don't think they knew in the backs of their minds, this is the marquee matchup of the whole weekend.
Yep.
We can't. We got to let them play.
Yeah, but now he's suspended. He could have been there for Sunday Night Football, maybe, if they had ejected him.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. You can't allow a player or players to become bigger than the game. And by allowing him to do what he did continuously, you allowed him to upstage the game. Because there's no question about it, Skip. He should have been gone in the first quarter.
But I think he had already upstaged the game of football. I'm serious about this. I don't think you're realizing, acknowledging what a pedestal he had already been placed on.
He's a phenomenal talent. I mean, the way the guy can catch the football, he can run the route tree. He's special. I'm going to give him his credit. He overreacted. Now, moving forward, how does he get that? How does he harness that? Because you know every game they're going to be whispering.
You better be ready from here on because they know you got what they used to call rabbit ears, man. You got big ears.
It's just like a guy that fumbles the football.
Yep.
They tackle the ball.
I know.
You have to address that problem for the rest of your career. He's going to have to deal with this for the rest of his career.
And this just came down. Josh Norman has been fined a combined $26,000 for 2 offenses in Sunday's win over the Giants, a source telling Jarrett Bell of USA Today. All right, so speaking of those personal accolades, for much of this season, it's been a 2-horse race for the MVP. However, things have gotten much more interesting of late. Cam and Brady still leading the conversation, but Russell Wilson, Carson Palmer, they're now in the mix as well. Cam balled Sunday. We can't